Welcome into First Take. Thank you so much for being with us. Let's get right into it here. Jon Gruden resigned as head coach of the Raiders in the wake of his racist, misogynistic, and anti-gay emails being exposed during an investigation of the Washington football team. He announced his resignation in a statement on Monday night, shortly after the New York Times reported that he used misogynistic and anti-gay language in numerous emails during a 7-year period that ended in 2018. The Times story came after Adam Schefter reported the NFL had sent the Raiders additional Gruden emails to review emails that were on top of the one that surfaced last week, in which Gruden used a racist comment in referring to NFLPA Executive Director DeMaurice Smith, and other emails in which Gruden disparaged NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell with a vulgar description. The Raiders said assistant Rich Bisaccia will serve as interim coach. As you can see, Jon Gruden put out that statement on your screen. I've resigned as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. I love the Raiders and do not want to be a distraction. Thank you to all the players, coaches, staff, and fans of Raider Nation. I'm sorry, I never meant to hurt anyone. Raiders owner Mark Davis adding, I have accepted Jon Gruden's resignation as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Interesting timing. These emails were sent while Jon Gruden was working for ESPN as a lead analyst for Monday Night Football, and his resignation announced during Monday Night Football last night. Keyshawn is getting set to join us right now. Obviously, he just finished his radio show. He played with a unique perspective, playing 2 years under Jon Gruden. We will get to him momentarily. Welcome into First Take. Thank you for being here. I'm Molly Karam Rose, Stephen A. Smith. I'll start with you, Stephen A., as Keyshawn gets set here.
Yes.
What's your reaction to all of this? Because this was shocking. As I was watching the game, it was really coming down throughout and at halftime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, by the way, everybody, like you said, Keyshawn will be here in a second. Just changing.
Walking out right now.
Radio, just finished doing this radio show. I got to get this out of my ear. So much static's in my ear right now. To say that this is stunning doesn't even begin to describe what this situation is.
Yeah.
Let me get this out of the way first.
Real quick, Keyshawn is here. Good morning. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for the hustle.
No problem.
And grateful to have you.
Yeah, absolutely grateful. Thanks a lot. To say that this is stunning doesn't even begin to describe how we all should feel right now. A couple of things. Number one, yesterday, you weren't here. I was of the mindset that Jon Gruden shouldn't be fired, shouldn't be suspended, because it was one email from 2011. And then the next thing you know, this avalanche arrived last night. And you learned that it wasn't one email, but many. You learned it wasn't one email that happened in 2011. It was emails that started in like 2010 all the way to 2011, all the way to 2018. And let's get into the particulars, because before I even say all of that, let me say this. Jon Gruden's career is over. It's over. There's certain things that we are the land of second chances. People make mistakes all the time, and we get all of that. But I cannot imagine even a white male with influence and connections and some degree of power that can overcome what the New York Times reported and what we all now know. Jon Gruden made racially insensitive comments about DeMaurice Smith, the executive director of the Players Association. And you have a plethora of people in this country that felt that should have been enough. Then we learned that he was against the NFL bringing in a guy like Michael Sam, saying over via emails that the commissioner should not be encouraging then Rams coach Jeff Fisher to draft queers. Then he sat up there, and after all of that, what did he say after that? He goes off, he calls the commissioner the P word. He calls the vice president of the United States the P word. He's against women being officials in the National Football League. I mean, you insulted blacks, you insulted women, you insulted folks from the gay community. The list
Wait,
just
and
went
criticized player safety.
And criticized. I was
trying to reduce.
Oh, I wasn't finished. I wasn't finished. I was saving that.
Just wanted to make sure.
Eric Reed, he said that Eric Reed should be fired for exercising his constitutional rights, because he had every right to do what he did, whether people agree with him or not. The fact of the matter is, you had a right to do it. He said the man should be fired. Everywhere you turn, I mean, he has offended I mean, several groups of people. His career is over. There's certain things, particularly in this day and age, you don't come back from. And Jon Gruden cannot come back from this. So before I say, I want to hand it off to you, Keyshawn, because I think your words right now are more important than mine because you played for the man and you were consistent. Like I said yesterday, even when at the time I said, listen, he shouldn't be fired based off of the one comment from 2011. I made sure to point out that your words yesterday on your radio show, before anybody has spoken about it, your words, I was like, Keyshawn's been saying this about him for years. Everything he said on the radio, Keyshawn said about Jon Gruden years and years ago. So your words were very, very consistent. And now they're prophetic and profound, to be quite honest with you. I don't see how he gets away with this. I don't see how he comes back from this. He hasn't gotten away from it, but how he comes back from this. But he ain't the only one. You, Bruce Allen, you know, you don't have a job right now. Good luck in getting one. Some of these groups are the owner of Hooters and this little chain, this little clique y'all had going, you know, sending these emails back and forth with one another. This will not be the only domino that will fall.
It's never the only domino that will fall. Yeah. I mean, it's just the start of everything. I mean, I don't even know where do you start with this situation?
You know, you want.
I want to start here. What did you see? What did you see as a player? Because you've been saying this for years, and people were critical of you for having those opinions.
I would say this, Molly. When I was playing, I didn't say anything. Stephen A. remember when I was deactivated from the team and essentially sent home for 6-7 weeks. Yeah. I didn't say anything. I said, "Hey, I'm happy. I won a Super Bowl. I had my time. It's time to move on." I didn't get into it. I let everybody else just say what they say. And then I finally said, man, this dude is a fraud. Y'all don't seem to understand. He's selling you on something and you're buying it. He's been doing that for years. And whether it was he's an excellent quarterback coach, whether he won the Super Bowl, which I'm grateful and thankful that he came in at a time and injected some energy into us so we can get over the hump that year and win the Super Bowl. But it's the talking behind people's back. Yeah. That was one of his traits. In Tampa, everything, Stephen A., I love you, Molly, you're great. But as soon as I go around the corner, I can't stand them, you know what's, and this, that, and the other. I got to get it. He was doing that a lot. And you know how assistant coaches are. Assistant coaches have to feed their family, so they're not going to say nothing. Right. But they'll tell you on the side, that's right. Hey, dude, this dude here is a bad guy. Yeah. And I always try to tell people, man, that dude's a bad guy. Y'all don't seem to get it because he gets on television and he has the scowl on his face and everybody likes him because he won a championship. I had taken no personal feelings with me at all about Jon Gruden. The guy actually tried to get me to come back to play for him the first year I retired. Bruce Allen and him called me and my agent to try to get me to come back and play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to make another playoff run, and I decided to stay at ESPN instead. But I also understood who he was. Am I surprised that this sort of behavior would come out about Coach Gruden? I'm not surprised that he would talk about people in despairing views behind their backs. Not at all. Am I surprised that he used racial insensitive things? Am I surprised that he was acting homophobic situations, talking about the LGBT community? Am I surprised that he went after the vice president, went after the commissioner? No, I'm not surprised, but what I'm surprised about is some of the words that he used, because I never saw that side of him, Molly. Yeah. I can't sit here and tell you that he called somebody out their name, or I never saw that. But as far as
like to your face, it was always positive.
It was a positive thing because I kept it positive, but I also saw through the stuff that he was putting out there. And it's always been that way. It's a funny story. You'll laugh at this though too, Stephen A. Prior to him taking, this is why I say a fraud and phony. Prior to him taking a job with ESPN, it was prior to taking the job with the Raiders, he was at ESPN. It was widely reported he's going to ESPN 3 weeks before going to the Raiders job. Going to the Raiders. Jon Gruden called me. I'm talking to Jon. Normal. We had an hour conversation about building the staff and about and about the players and the defense on the team. Why? But he wanted to know about a guy that I knew that he wanted to bring on his staff. But I knew that was all phony. I'm like, why are you calling me about a team? And he says, well, if I take the job, I don't think I'm going to take the job. You already done agreed to take the damn job. But that's who he is. And you have to know that and take it with face value and deal with it that way. Now, as far as all the emails go, in the insensitive language in those emails, he's dead wrong. And what happened to him yesterday should have happened. And you and I had a sidebar conversation. And you told me, Stephen A., you said, no, you're wrong, Keyshawn.
Right.
You told me that. I said, no,
over that one email. Yeah.
Over that one email. I said, no, man, there's going to be more that's going to come.
Right, and that's what you said.
He said, man, it's going to be more that's going to come.
Right.
If they got 650,000 emails reported, you mean to tell me only one email? No. They had a whole 7-year span.
Do you think he can never come back from this, similar to the sentiment Stephen A. said earlier?
Oh, he'll never coach again.
No.
Not in the National Football League.
Never.
Now, if you ask me if some college to some certain region or something like that, because they feel that certain way, they might in college, but in the pros, no, because it's very difficult to look us in the eyes and say to us, we need to play for you and you need to be our leader.
Right.
Couple of things. Couple of
things. First of all, let me get some names out here because I'm reading from the article of the New York Times here. Sure. Ed Droste, D-R-O-S-T-E. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. The co-founder of Hooters.
Yeah, co-founder of Hooters.
Jim McVeigh, an executive who has run the Outback Bowl, annually held in Tampa, Florida, where Jon Gruden lives.
I believe that's the uncle of Sean McVeigh.
Okay. Nick Reeder, the founder of PDQ Restaurants, a Tampa-based fried chicken franchise. These are the people that were in the email chain with Bruce Allen.
Yeah.
And Jon Gruden. So the reason I bring that up is because listen, Keyshawn and I go back years. Molly, love you dearly. We've been working together for years and stuff like that. You don't share emails back and forth with people spanning 7 years.
No, you don't.
Where you say stuff like that. Unless you're comfortable.
Unless you're comfortable.
Well, it's a level of privilege also.
Wait a minute. Wait. Privilege.
In being comfortable and feeling...
With us like that. You could say it once and we like, what the hell are you doing? Whoa, stop right there.
Yeah.
When you got emails spanning 7 years and there's an email chain involving all of that kind of language and sharing pornographic material with one another and stuff like that, because all of that's in the article here, okay? That is not an accident. Now, I'm not making accusations.
But no,
I'm saying highlighting that kind of stuff is not normal.
But here's what I'm going to say about Bruce. I've been knowing Bruce since I was a kid, man, here in L.A.
Right.
Bruce was a former general manager at the Oakland Raiders.
Okay.
Eventually moved to Tampa Bay when Rich McKay was pushed out by Jon Gruden. He took over Tampa. Been knowing him since I was a kid, since I was in junior high school.
Right.
His name being involved in that hurts to the core.
Wow.
It hurts to the core. You know who his brother is, right? You know who Bruce's brother? George Allen, the former governor of Virginia.
Wow.
Go figure. I knew that, but I got to separate. I could put a wall up between the brother and Bruce. But then when this started to come out, and I'm sitting there like you say, and you're not putting a stop to it.
Not a stop. Not a stop.
That's not good.
It hurts to the core because you didn't expect it from him.
And you
not at all. Not at all.
Right.
Never. I would say that's my guy. Right now, I could pull up his number in my phone. I wanted to call him last night so bad and be like, Bruce, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
But I just decided
I interviewed him once. I interviewed him once. Seemed like the nicest guy. Seemed like the nicest guy in the world. And again, I don't know him. You know him, so I'm not going to cast any aspersions on his character. I'm just saying it looks bad. And then you brought up an assistant coach. Well, I happen to know a couple of assistant coaches that at least once upon a time, not assistant coaches, personnel, all of that stuff, that worked under Jon Gruden at one moment in time. Here's what one guy wrote me. Great offensive coach. Worst leader of men I was around in 30 years of football. The guy says one thing, does another. Doesn't want accountability at all. Absolutely horrible guy. That's what somebody who worked under Jon Gruden texted me last night. And all I'm saying to you is this. At the end of the day, again, let me remind people, Jon Gruden is absolutely nice to me. I've had pleasant communication with him when he worked
me as well. Our interaction.
All of us. We love talking
always
football because he
polite,
can talk
upbeat.
football all day, every day. And I know people, in fairness to him, who swore, I wouldn't say swore, I say past tense because I can't imagine they swear by him today. But they swore by him, okay? Maybe he fooled some folks. Maybe maybe they knew. I don't know. But what I do know is this. When you offend, when you are that offensive to that many people, I've always had this problem. Hold on, Keyshawn. I've always had this problem. Because the world that we live in today, no matter how crazy it may be, we're so much better off now than we were, obviously, in years past. So I've always raised an eyebrow when people bring up plantation mentality and things of that nature as it pertains to owners, particularly in the NBA, because I don't view them that way. But when I think about the NFL and the power that they have over these players, 70% black, hard salary cap, all of this stuff. And I think about, because I got on the phone with an owner this morning, driving in here. And I said, talk to me about these NFL owners. And they were like, listen, man, with the NBA, he said, it ain't just Adam Silver. When there's an issue that goes down, you see the owners themselves. You never really see the owners. Outside of Robert Kraft or Jerry Jones, you barely see any owners in the NFL saying anything. Everybody hides behind the commissioner. And what they do is engage in these kind of actions to say, okay, let's get through the moment. And then they go back to being who they are as owners. He said, what you have is a situation where you got Mark Davis as an Al Davis. Al Davis was very progressive in his thinking. I mean, he hired Art Shell, who came from an HBCU. Amy Trask was his right hand. You had all of this stuff going on. And Jon Gruden used to have friction with Al Davis, from my understanding. Yes. So here you have a situation where Mark Davis embraced Jon Gruden. That was his guy. And you look at the kind of statements that were made in this email, you can only imagine what was said in person. And this is a guy that you had as your leader of men. And by the way, Mark Davis, all right, and because I reached out to him last night, invited him on First Take, didn't hear back from him, don't expect to hear back from him, but I wanted him to have that invitation. From my understanding, Mark Davis had all of this information Friday. Yeah, but what the hell were you doing letting Jon Gruden coach Sunday?
That's tough, though, Stephen A.
Sure.
It's tough because Friday, you got all this information. I gotta now sift through it in my brain. Saturday comes, we're game planning. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Sunday comes, okay, you lose the game, whatever the case is. I don't personally believe that if the second emails would have just kind of stayed dormant for a little bit, he still would have got canned. Because the noise was going to get louder amongst the NFL player community. You got to remember now, it's the weekend. Traveling teams, the Cleveland Browns are going from Cleveland to LA to play the Chargers. The Rams are over. It's just everybody everywhere. Yeah.
Right.
So until the day settled down, when you get to Monday, then the second ball drop with the New York Times, at that point he had to cut bait because he couldn't come back from it. They could only hold water for so long in this situation.
Yeah, that's how you look at it.
I'm telling you, Stephen A.
No, I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm saying there's another way to look at it in this regard. The NFL had the information. The NFL,
they're going to move slow.
I'm saying the NFL, from my understanding, they were upset that Gruden was coaching Sunday.
Absolutely.
They expected Mark. So in other words, what I'm saying to you is I understand your point. But the NFL had a different opinion.
They wanted a heavier hand Mark
sooner.
Davis.
They wanted him going before. I'm just saying. I feel you on that. I'm just saying. But Keyshawn is Keyshawn, and I get that. I'm not disputing it. I'm saying the NFL, the same thing that I said, the NFL wanted that handle beforeUnday's game.
Yeah.
So their attitude.
Why even let him troll the sidelines on Sunday?
That's what they.
I get it.
That's their position.
I get it, but I guess I'm more practical in how the owner in the team is probably thinking at that point in time.
But if you're practical, is it possible that the NFL knew this and Mark Davis knew it sooner than Friday? And the NFL is saying, why the hell did you do something sooner? That's what I'm saying. So in all likelihood, Mark Davis had to be dragged kicking and screaming to this ultimate position.
Because, think about it, though, Stephen. Somebody's coming in, walking and telling you your head coach got to be fired, and you got $100 million, $60 million left on his contract. Mark, he's sitting there probably like, what the hell just happened?
6 years, yeah.
You know, he's trying to figure all that out. And the money ain't even a bigger part of it in the grand scheme of things. The money, he'll make that up 10 times fold.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying it should say something to us that the NFL had a problem with you having him coach on those sidelines this past Sunday.
Absolutely.
So that the NFL's on the right side of things.
Well, not just that.
Well, of course.
The NFL, I mean, how the hell did the New York Times get that information?
Yeah.
It damn sure wasn't from Mark Davis.
Yeah. They were also probably waiting.
I got something for you.
They're also probably waiting to see what came to light.
I mean, come on now.